So imagine for a second you're actually doing it. You're moving to the Canary Islands. The dream is finally happening, right? You've got everything packed up, your car is loaded onto the ferry, and you roll up to customs ready to start your brand new life in the sun. But then the customs officer hits you with a bill for literally thousands of euros. You're standing there completely confused because they're asking you to pay taxes on your very own car. Let's dive right into this explainer because honestly, while this sounds totally absurd, it's a classic and painfully expensive mistake that catches so many people off guard. The good news, it is absolutely avoidable if you know the rules. And that's exactly what we're going to unpack today. Paying customs on your own car, I know exactly what you're thinking. It seems completely illogical. You're probably saying, wait a minute, this is my property. I bought this car years ago. I already paid taxes on it back home. Why on earth would I have to pay anything again? And hey, it's totally understandable to be frustrated by that. But here is the catch. Relying on that everyday common sense logic, that's actually the very root of the problem. See, this is where your reality clashes pretty violently with bureaucratic reality. From your perspective, that vehicle is your beloved, fully paid-for personal property. Maybe it's even got a few familiar debts. But Canary Islands Customs, they see something entirely different. While you're saying, hey, everything's already paid, Customs strictly says change of tax zone. They don't look at it as your daily driver, they strictly see a commodity. To them, it's just another good being imported onto the islands.
So why is this even the case? Well, the Canary Islands have a really unique special status. Yes, politically they belong to Spain, and yeah, that means they're part of the European Union, but, and this is a massive but, they sit strictly outside of the EU value-added tax area. That makes them their own completely separate zone when it comes to tax law. And what does that mean for you? Quite simply, any good you bring over from the European mainland is legally considered a brand new import. And unfortunately, legally speaking, that includes your own used car. By default, the system treats it exactly the same as a commercial shipping container packed full of t-shirts or bananas.
And as you can probably guess, an import process is an incredibly expensive bureaucratic machine. First, the authorities are going to estimate the current value of your vehicle. Next, they just slam all their taxes right on top of that value. They'll calculate the standard import VAT, they'll add specific customs duties depending on where the car originally came from, and then they often stack specific local island taxes on top of all the rest of it. It's like a giant tax puzzle, and you're footing the bill.
And man, this adds up at lightning speed. We are definitely not talking about a minor administrative fee of $100 here. To put it into perspective, for a perfectly normal standard mid-range car, these import taxes can easily stack up to nearly 5,000 euros. Just like that, your simple plan of, oh, I'll just bring my car with me, suddenly transforms into an extremely expensive luxury.
Now, before we look at how to actually fix this, there's a fundamental piece of basic logic you absolutely have to understand. Import does not equal registration. These are two totally different things. Import simply answers the question, is the vehicle legally allowed into the territory? Registration, on the other hand, is an entirely separate bureaucratic hurdle that answers, am I actually allowed to drive it on the roads? Today, we're strictly focusing on that first massive hurdle, getting it imported. But here is the most important point of this entire explainer. There is a way out. There's a completely official legal exception created exactly for this specific scenario. And this exception goes by the German legal term Umzugsgut, which roughly translates to removal goods. If your car is officially declared as part of your removal goods, then you are legally allowed to bring it onto the Canary Islands completely free of import duties and taxes. This right here is the golden key. It's how you completely bypass that massive trap and save yourself thousands of euros.
But listen to me very carefully here. This isn't just some simple loophole you can casually claim when you roll up to the border. This Umzugsgut status is tied to super strict, completely non-negotiable conditions. If you make even a small mistake or, heaven forbid, miss a deadline, the tax exemption is immediately off the table. Bam, gone. Very few people know these unforgiving details, which is exactly why so many fall straight into the trap, paying thousands when they could have legally avoided the whole shebang.
To secure that tax-free import, the level of preparation required is, well, it's immense. You're going to need the H1 anmelding for your standard customs declaration. You need the empadronamiento, which is your official local registration down in the Canaries. You need the badge de residencia, that's the flawless proof that you have officially given up your previous residence. And of course, you need absolutely strict compliance with all the deadlines, because the hard truth is, the decision of whether you pay thousands of euros or €0, it isn't made at the ferry port. It's decided months in advance through meticulous preparation. Which brings us to the ultimate question. What exactly are the 3 unbreakable rules you must follow to guarantee this tax exemption? What are those critical deadlines you literally cannot afford to miss? And how do you flawlessly prove your change of residence to the authorities without leaving a single gap? If you are planning a move, knowing this is worth its weight in gold. So join me in the next explainer in this series where we'll go through the exact step-by-step checklist to ensure your car arrives safely, legally, and most importantly, without costing you an absolute fortune. I'll see you there.